Abortion Pills Part 2, which is the part where I get some pills on the internet and take them. I'm not pregnant. I just am kind of curious because I talk about pills all the time, but I've never actually gone through the process of acquiring them or taking them myself. And also, I just want to show that doing this doesn't necessarily need to be a huge deal. In fact, for a lot of people, this might be a better, more convenient way to end a pregnancy than visiting an abortion clinic. The whole legal landscape of abortion is in flux right now, and we can't see into the future, but this is America. So we know that the people that are going to get really fucked by either lack of access to abortion clinics or by being criminalized for ending their own pregnancies are poor people and people of color and undocumented people, marginalized people whose lives are complicated in ways that my life is not. I am a cisgendered white woman in a blue state in a middle-class life. I'm an activist with access to a lot of resources, and I talked to a bunch of lawyers before making this video, and what I'm doing is legal currently. So fuck it. I'm going to go get some abortion pills and I'm going to eat them because I want to, and I can, and I want you to know that you can too. If you're researching abortion pills on your computer, either put your browser on private or use DuckDuckGo, which is a search engine that doesn't store or share any of your browsing information. If you're using your phone, use Firefox Focus instead of your default browser and turn off your location services. And if you want to avoid seeing pregnancy-related ads in the future, you can also disable your mobile ad ID. First, I went to Plan C, which is an excellent hub for all sorts of information and resources related to abortion pills, and I used their state-by-state search tool to find my options in Washington state. From there, I went to Aid Access, an organization started by Dutch doctor and activist Rebecca Gompertz, who has been finding creative ways to get people abortion pills for decades. And in addition to being founded by my activist hero, Aid Access is also currently considered to be the most reliable organization shipping pills in the United States and ships pills to people all over the country up to 10 weeks in pregnancy. I went to their website and I filled out a form that had the sorts of questions that you'd probably expect, and it took about 10 minutes. I pressed submit and I immediately received an email from them that said that they'd received my request. They said they'd be able to send me the pills for $150, which included support services, the pills themselves, and shipment. And they asked me for a couple of additional pieces of information, including a copy of a photo ID, which they assured me they'd never share with anyone. They then sent me a link to pay the $150 through the website of a doctor here in Washington state who'd be writing my prescription. Then I forwarded them a receipt of my payment and affirmed my consent to medical care. And a few hours later, I got an email saying that the pills had been shipped, along with a USPS tracking number. 2 days later, the goods arrived. Inside the package was one 200 milligram tablet of mifepristone, 8 tablets of 200 microgram misoprostol, and some detailed instructions. I started getting ready to have my not abortion. I bought a bunch of snacks, I borrowed a heating pad, I made sure all my most trashed underwear were clean, I bought some giant maxi pads, and I told my roommate, who has had multiple medication abortions, to be prepared to dote on me. The next day, I took the mifepristone, and while this first pill begins the abortion process, you don't actually feel anything after taking it, and you can go about your normal life doing whatever. "24 hours later, it was time to take the misoprostol. When misoprostol starts working, it causes a person to experience cramps, bleeding, nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea, and it basically causes you to cramp out whatever is in your uterus. I placed 4 tablets of misoprostol under my tongue, and I waited for the magic to happen.
How's it going?
Pretty good.
How'd it go?
It wasn't, fun.
That wasn't my question.
I, got a fever and got really sweaty and hot and cold and just got a really upset stomach and then got period cramps, basically, but just kind of worse. Yeah, and then I just started bleeding, but, not that much.
Were you up all night?
Yeah, I didn't sleep very much. I don't want to work today.
That's fine. And how do you feel now?
I feel okay. I was pregnant and didn't want to be out. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be a cause for celebration.
Yeah.
Wow, well, good job. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Will you make me a cup of coffee?
Of course.
90% of counties in the United States already don't have a single abortion clinic, and that's just going to get worse before it gets better, unfortunately. So the fact that mifeprex and misoprostol are safe to use outside of a clinic make them the single best tool that we have to mitigate the horribly inhumane impacts of whatever anti-choice legislation we see passed in coming years. Basically, the whole concept of back alley abortions originated in a time before these drugs existed. And now that they're widely available, we can do our own early abortions safely. And that fact needs to become common knowledge. Don't get me wrong, abortion pills are not a magic bullet, and we still desperately need abortion clinics for lots of reasons, one of which is that lots of people need abortions later in pregnancy. They often need them later because they were pushed later by logistical or financial or legal barriers that were put in place by anti-choice legislation. The vast majority of those procedures happen at independent abortion clinics as opposed to Planned Parenthood. Those clinics desperately need your support, and you can do that at keepourclinics.org. Also, there are plenty of reasons why a person might choose to end a pregnancy this way, even if they can access a clinic. To start, it's a couple $100s cheaper. You might live in a small town and not want to see anyone you know. You might want to not leave your house because of the pandemic and just get something in the mail instead of going to a doctor's office. You might hate going to the doctor. You might be gender nonconforming, in which case you've probably had some really tough experiences with reproductive health care. In closing, I don't know who you are or where you are or what year it is right now as you watch this video, and I am definitely not a legal expert, so it doesn't make any sense for me to try to tell you whether or not there's any legal risk for you in ending a pregnancy this way. But I can tell you this. People can use mifeprex and misoprostol to safely end early pregnancies no matter what happens in the courts, and there are a lot of ways to assess and mitigate any potential legal risk before you choose to do that. So please remember to support independent abortion clinics, and remember that the best way that we currently have to expand abortion access is to learn to take care of ourselves and of each other. So make yourself a resource and share SafeAbortion.Info.